Hey, what's up everyone? And I know it's been a while since I've done pretty much any kind of review or top 10, top 5 or whatever list or basically it's been a while since I've done a video. So obviously I'm not giving up on doing videos. I have a lot to work on here and there, and obviously with October rolling around the corner, obviously it's almost September, or well I should say it is September. Um, yeah, I got a lot of stuff doing for a Halloween Horror Fest, and well, been busy with that. So in the meantime, I'll keep you busy with a top 5 list, shall we? And that is on video game movies. Yes, movies based off video games. We all know they have a rep for being really bad. There's a lot of bad ones, and pretty much we know why. They're shit quality, acting choices are usually bad, they don't follow source material well enough, they follow source material too much. One or the other, most of the time, they get a bad rep. But there's a few exceptions to films that I think are, well, looked at pretty unfairly, especially by critics. I mean, we all know critics are hard on these films. Yes, there is a handful of really bad ones. And just keep in mind, this is my opinion, people, okay? Strictly opinion, not facts, so don't go apeshit if you don't agree with me on this list. And just to let you know, I have not seen Warcraft, but obviously we can only hope for the better reactions out of, at least out of critics, and hope for the fact that Assassin's Creed is on the way this December and that it turns out good, even though I'm pretty skeptical on it. And yes, I'm a big fan of this series, so might as well get to it. Top 5 movies based off video games that I think are, well, pretty much looked at unfairly, but not superb. So let's get to it. Number 5. Silent Hill. Okay, I'm not really a big fan of this series, but it's a pretty decent horror genre. And, well, yeah, I know, it's a little overlong, but it has plenty of good jump scares, despite some cheesy moments here and there. But I think the acting is, well, it holds together pretty well. And, well, it could be enjoyed for what it is if you're a diehard fan of this series. If you're not, I respect that. But Silent Hill Revelation, the sequel, forget about it. Don't even bother with that one. Number 4, Resident Evil 3, The Extinction. Okay, we all know this series is still going on, and yes, there's a final one that's finally coming out next year, but haven't we all forgot about this franchise? I mean, this is the 6th one that finally conclude the series after 2 sequels that pretty much were not really needed, and this pretty much should have been the extinction of the series. And yes, I sort of enjoyed the first 2, and yes, this one as well, despite some cheesy effects, despite some cheesy acting, but it's enjoyable for what it is. And yes, I've played pretty much every video game in this franchise. They're fun, but yeah, and this one could be fun to watch too. But the last one, the 5th one to be exact, Retribution, I wouldn't even bother. Yes, it's got a lot of action and again, cheesy acting and everything and special effects. And it just seemed like a lot of the actors in Retribution really were just hawking up the scene, and a lot of pointless padding and action scenes that just went on too long. But this one I think I'd actually take a look at. This to me was like the last good one in this series, and as I said, this is where they should have ended it. So, not that I'm really going to ditch the last one, and I mean I'm still fascinated to see how this series is going to end, and well, I'm not going to be surprised if it just ends up getting rebooted again, but maybe this one should have been the extinction of the series. So, but still take a look. Cheesy, but watchable. Number 3. Mortal Kombat. Okay, we all know Mortal Kombat. We all know Mortal Kombat is the bloodiest fighting game franchise of all time. And seeing that this got a movie, or, well, 2 movies I should say, they were both PG-13. Yes, I agree, it shouldn't have been PG-13. It should have been R-rated. Blood, guts were not in this film. Yes, they had to dumb it down, I guess, for a younger audience to be able to watch it, which I think is ridiculous considering all these other video game movies, even though most of them aren't that great, were R-rated. So, yes, I'm aware this series is getting rebooted, and we can only hope that that's going to be R-rated, and if not, then I'm sure we're going to be loyally pissed at the studio for that. Otherwise, this film may be cheesy and some of the effects might be lousy, but come on, it's still watchable for its taste. And he has most of the characters, you know, the classic ones. You got Liu Kang, you got Scorpion, and yeah, you got a kick-ass song in this movie. It's still pretty watchable. And just like Silent Hill, the sequel, just stay away from it. Annihilation to be exact, because it just only gets worse from then on. So, as I said, watchable, but I can only hope for the sake that the reboot does better. And most importantly, it goes for the R rating, like I just said. Number 2, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Now, this was a mixed bag amongst critics. And I could definitely agree, it's not a superb film. I was iffy on seeing this, even though I wasn't a real diehard fan of this franchise. But after seeing like films like The Mummy and all that stuff, and seeing that it's an action-adventure, seeing that Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be in it, and Ben Kingsley, it looked pretty fascinating. Actually, I didn't see it in theaters. I just watched it when it was on TV, and it was actually pretty enjoyable. Yes, you can argue that some of the story was a bit lacking. He gets the dagger, and he doesn't really use it to his strong consent. So, yeah, it could have been better. But overall, I'd say the actors did their part, and yeah, it's a little bit long, but I'd still say it's a worthwhile adventure, worth watching at least once. So, give it a shot if you want to. And the number 1 video game movie that I think is the best, just my opinion, people, and just to give you a heads up, it's not based on a video game. I didn't say they have to be based on video games, right? Or did I? Let this one slide because this is the best one based around video games. Wreck-It Ralph by Disney Studios, the same studio that did all the great hits like Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and of course that other one called Frozen that people still, even to today, can't shut up about. But this one I have to say is probably my favorite out of this studio because, yeah, this is like the Roger Rabbit of video game characters. Yeah, I mean, how many trademarks are mixed in, and I was surprised that Disney had the money to pull this off. It is fantastic. Yes, I know it is kind of annoying, you know, to see, like, in the trailer, you expect to see a lot of this in the film, all these mixture of trademark characters from their other video games like Capcom, Namco, Nintendo, Sega, yeah, like got Sonic, Dr. Eggman, Street Fighter characters like M. Bison, you got Pac-Man and the Pac-Man Ghost. I mean, yeah, they're only in there, like I said, for a brief period, like at the beginning and some other parts in the movie. During most of the part, it's obviously Wreck-It Ralph himself, which is our main villain, or character, I should say. And he's basically like a mixture of Donkey Kong and Rampage, wherever that character was. And basically, he's trying to prove himself that he wants to be a hero. Basically, the main idea of the movie is you can't change who you are. Every character has their purpose, and it does a great job. And obviously, he jumps from, like every other character in the movie, to other video games, and the whole turbo idea. It's fantastic. The animation is gorgeous. The voice acting is great. The characters are likable. And yes, he obviously goes into Sugar Rush, which is basically like that. Whenever I play Mario Kart 8, that stage where all the candy basically reminds me of this. And it's obviously a basic reference to Mario Kart. He comes across the Glitch character. I'm not going to give away too much. Just give it a watch if you haven't yet. It's definitely worth it. Even if you're going to be disappointed to find out that most of the favorite characters are only in there for a brief period, it's still worth a watch. I was a little iffy seeing that this had all video game characters in it before I went to see it in theaters, but man was I wrong, and I think it should have won the Oscar for Best Animated Movie instead of Disney and Pixar's Brave. I mean, I'm sure anybody can agree with me on that one, but still think it's a worthwhile film. It's definitely fantastic. I mean, so, yeah, may not be based on a video game, but come on, I think you cut me slack here. It's definitely worth watching, and Disney finally did it right. So, that's my list right there. Comment below if you feel like it, but please avoid leaving negative comments or rage comments, whatever. Till next time, keep watching.